The principle of lifelong learning embodies an ever-present, voluntary, and self-motivated pursuit of knowledge for both personal and professional purposes. Not only does it bolster an individual's employability and competitiveness, but it also promotes societal inclusion, active citizenship, and personal growth. This concept has evolved from the term lifelong learners, which was coined by Leslie Watkins and embraced by Professor Clint Taylor from Sosula and Superintendent of the Temple City Unified School District. Its essence specifically highlights the ongoing and multi-situational aspect of learning, spanning from childhood through to adulthood. The concept further matured organically and was embodied in the first Lifelong Learning Institute, which was founded at the New School for Social Research in 1962 as an attempt at learning in retirement. As similar entities emerged across the United States, the term Lifelong Learning Institute was embraced to include individuals of all ages. Advancements in science and technology in the past half-century have had significant impacts on the understanding of learning. It is now considered an ongoing process in our everyday interactions with the world and others, transcending the confines of a classroom or a workplace. Such learning can morph into formal, informal, or self-directed forms, with Alan Tuff, a Canadian educator, stating that almost 70 of the learning initiatives are planned by learners themselves. Lifelong learning, described as a process taking place in various contexts, including homes, workplaces, recreational areas, and schools, focuses on holistic education. Although it is beneficial to learners across the age spectrum, it has a particular focus on adults re-entering formal education. Various programs exist based on this framework to cater to diverse learning needs, such as the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4 and the UNESCO Institute for Lifelong Learning, which focuses on marginalized and disadvantaged learners. In essence, lifelong learning incorporates traditional education methods along with modern learning opportunities, offering a comprehensive and continuous learning journey. Lifelong learning, a concept often understood differently in varying contexts, is effectively described by the theories of cognitivism and constructivism. Cognitivism, especially the renowned Gestalt theory, portrays learning as the process of understanding the correlation between old and new knowledge. Conversely, constructivism argues that knowledge isn't merely absorbed passively from external sources, but is a product of individuals or groups making sense of their lived experiences. This theory aligns well with lifelong learning as it amalgamates varied sources of learning, including life experiences. Mainstream higher education establishments are now valuing lifelong learning beyond the conventional models of credit and degree earning. Individuals often learn in discrete sections or areas of interest, and this form of education has potentially valuable impacts on both the individual and the wider community. The educational sector's economic significance remains unchallenged as individuals continue formalizing their education or pursuing interest-specific subject. Education institutions contribute to economic operations by churning out educated citizens who, apart from being consumers in the local economy, create economic activity through institutional activities comparable to health centers. Educational institutions rank among the major employers globally. Lifelong learning has substantial economic repercussions globally for all age groups, irrespective of the learning medium, traditional or remote. Lifelong learners, particularly those with academic or professional credentials, are likely to attain higher-paying jobs, leaving financial, cultural, and entrepreneurial impacts on communities, as pointed by educator Cassandra B. White. Lifelong learning can manifest in several forms beyond traditional school-based learning. Some established contexts include homeschooling, adult education, continuing education, lifelong learning institutes for people above age 50, personal learning environments, and online learning. The latter has been readily adopted by most educational institutions or independent learners. Many institutions even offer online courses for free. One relatively contemporary approach to lifelong learning is through massive open online courses, MOOCs, a concept dating back to 2008. These are courses designed by a teacher or team, providing a curriculum along with minimal guidance, hosting hundreds, sometimes thousands of learners, as MOOCs typically do not offer credit for completed courses. They serve as intriguing and useful instances of lifelong learning. The central theme of the Office of Education Strategy for 2022-2026 advocates the concept of championing lifelong learning through institutional resources such as libraries and museums. Lifelong learning, essentially defined, is continuous knowledge acquisition endeavors, which undertake an individualistic, self-motivated approach to education and skill development. This type of learning often takes place after traditional education years and happens organically through personal or professional experiences, or as a way for individuals to adapt to life's unpredictable path. The advancement in technology plays a colossal role in establishing the importance of lifelong learning. With its rapid changes, individuals are compelled to continuously learn to keep up with everyday demands. The critical role of assistive technologies cannot be overlooked in addressing the needs of individuals with disabilities whilst promoting lifelong learning. Present technological advancements, particularly related to the internet, have greatly promoted informal learning opportunities. Such real-time, daily learning experience significantly aids in creating lifelong learning. The significance of lifelong learning is recognized by most professions, as it is essential to keeping up with the rapid accumulation of knowledge. Williams, 2001. This necessitates the continuance of learning for the effective conduct of their roles, often even required to maintain professional licenses. Merriam, Caffarella, Baumgartner, 2007. To be a successful lifelong learner, one needs to develop certain characteristics or skills. Critical thinking and reflective learning can be instrumental in making learners independent by teaching them how to learn on their own. This, in turn, enables them to manage their learning process more efficiently. Candy, 1990. Open teachers, as studied by SIPE, 1995, valued self-directing learning, challenge, seeking, and collaboration, and viewed risk, taking during learning as an opportunity rather than a threat. According to Dunlap and Grabinger, 2003, for a lifelong learner to excel in higher education, they should develop metacognition, self-direction, and a proactive approach to learning. Merriam, Caffarel, E. Baumgartner, 2007. The Delors Report introduced a comprehensive understanding of education predicated on two central paradigms: continued education throughout life and the concept of 4 pillars of learning. The report suggested a comprehensive intellectual framework for learning, signaling that traditional education overwhelmingly focuses on knowledge accumulation, often at the expense of other critical types of learning that are integral for human growth. It underscored the importance of lifelong learning and addressed how everyone can acquire pertinent skills, knowledge, and attitudes for work, societal participation, and personal satisfaction. The report highlighted learning to live together as one of the vital 4 pillars of learning. The theory of these 4 pillars of learning was built upon the idea of lifelong learning, an evolution of a 1972 Fourier Publications concept of lifelong education entitled Learning to Be. The University of the Third Age in India and other locations exemplifies the quite spontaneous development of independent learning groups that tap into the expertise of their members in the quest for knowledge and communal experience. This approach to learning for its own sake requires no preliminary qualifications nor concludes with any certification. In Sweden, the successful concept study circles originated almost a century ago, still accounting for a large part of the adult education offering. The concept has since gained traction worldwide, finding common practice in Finland. These study circles, being one of the most democratic forms of a learning environment, do not have any teachers. It is the group which determines the content, scope, and method of delivery. Lifelong learning occasionally aims to offer educational opportunities beyond standard, often expensive and inaccessible educational systems. Several universities even have designated administrative divisions devoted to lifelong learning. As an example, the University of Delaware houses an Academy of Lifelong Learning within its university-wide professional and continuing studies division. Similarly, the Jagiellonian University Extension is one of Poland's most extensive centers for lifelong learning. In recent years, the term lifelong learning has been adopted in the UK as a collective term for post-compulsory education that does not fall within the UK higher education system. This term applies to further education, community education, workplace-based learning, and similar voluntary, public, and commercial settings. The Lifelong Learning Plan by the Canadian government permits its citizens to utilize finances from their registered retirement savings plan for ongoing educational pursuits. However, the funds must be applied strictly to certified learning programs. Different nations set diverse precedents for learning across a lifetime, with some focusing on economic progress and others on societal advancement. Countries like China, Korea, Singapore, and Malaysia exhibit a targeted human resource development approach to lifelong learning, promoting entrepreneurship. Research in mainstream economics underscores how increased primary and secondary education can drastically impact long-term economic growth. This is demonstrated in the considerable growth differentials between East Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa between 1965 and 2010, much of which are attributable to initial educational levels. Quality education boosts the whole population's knowledge base and skill set beyond the scope of traditional or informal systems and greatly enhances worker productivity for businesses. Well-educated and highly skilled workers are key for productivity improvements and technological advancements. At a larger societal scale, education expansion fosters social and institutional capital, helping establish social trust, participatory societies, rule of law, and good governance. With advancements in healthcare and living conditions, coupled with increased life expectancy, we are witnessing an upsurge in the elderly population worldwide. Consequently, there's a rise in age-related cognitive impairment conditions like Alzheimer's disease, reaching an estimated 756 million cases by 2030. The escalating cost of dementia care forms a significant socioeconomic challenge demanding urgent intervention. A study by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services in 2007 revealed that older individuals with cognitive impairment necessitated significantly more care than healthier peers. Those with mild cognitive impairment required an additional 8.5 hours of care weekly, while severe cases demanded around 415 more hours. It is projected that there will be over 150 million dementia cases globally by 2050. Further heightening the urgency for preventive measures against cognitive decline in the elderly population. The inevitable tissue damage that accompanies aging can potentially lead to cognitive decline. However, building cognitive reserves throughout life may offer a form of prevention against such decline. Even in instances where medical tests reveal biological deterioration indicative of brain structure changes, SHIR appeared to be a strong factor in maintaining cognitive function. In other words, those who continue to learn through life were found to stave off dementia longer than those without such habits, despite the biological assaults their brains were undergoing due to the disease. The threat of age-related neurodegenerative diseases looms for a large portion of the population, and the quest for solutions has been ongoing since the early 20th century, when German psychiatrist Alois Alzheimer first studied a diseased brain. With no existing therapy to slow dementia's progression and a significant proportion of older adults affected by cognitive deterioration, it's crucial to unearth strategies that might impede this disease's progression. A potential approach lies in bolstering CR, a cost-effective, universally approachable non-drug intervention that could slow the encroachment of age-related dementia. A 2021 systematic review emphasized the importance of identifying factors to slow the progression to dementia due to the substantial public health savings and improved quality of life it could offer. Despite compelling evidence supporting lifelong learning and CRA as weapons against dementia, the field isn't exempt from common scientific research challenges, such as the absence of large, randomized controlled trials. Although preliminary evidence suggests that preventive measures positively impact brain health and hinder cognitive decline, more comprehensive studies are required to confirm these findings. There are skeptics of the theories of cognitive reserve and lifelong learning. A piece published in Aging and Mental Health in 1997 criticized studies linking education and cognitive decline. The paper pointed out inconsistencies in diagnostic procedures, flawed study methodologies, and statistical analysis variations as sources of skewed results in previous studies, making a strong case for more rigorous and standardized research in the field. Research data indicate that lifelong learning has the potential to mitigate the risk of dementia. However, achieving total participation can be challenging, particularly among individuals with lower educational backgrounds who may be less incentivized to join these programs. Many elements, including gender, race, and initial education, influence adults' willingness to engage in lifelong learning. Nevertheless, it has been shown that these programs offer health advantages regardless of an individual's academic achievements. Lifelong learning can enhance cognitive reserves, thereby reducing the likelihood of developing cognitive decline, associated ailments. The stereotype that learning is confined to our early years and older adults are restrained in their learning capacity has been debunked by multiple research studies. They demonstrate that cognitive improvements in older adults are indeed possible, and that lifelong learning can revitalize dormant skills and decelerate mental deterioration. While typical cognitive decline is anticipated with age, diseases like Alzheimer's tend to appear years before diagnosis. Currently, we lack a cure for dementia and have only limited drug interventions. However, lifestyle alterations such as education, mentally taxing careers, and maintaining cognitive activeness have been suggested as ways to strengthen individuals' cognitive reserves. Research underscores the significance of lifelong learning in preventing age-related neurodegenerative diseases. Studies suggest an observed decrease in dementia rates in newer generations in the West, hinting that a healthier, more active lifestyle may contribute to disease reduction and improved public health. To globalize these benefits, expanding free and affordable access to online and in-person education could deliver cognitive health benefits to susceptible populations globally. This would potentially alleviate the economic and social repercussions of cognitive decline, related diseases in communities around the world.